Every time Kuzu seems like it's going to gain some momentum, Yokohama just has an answer. What is up, y'all? It's your man, That Dude, bringing you guys another video. Giving out subscriptions down below, so go click that button. I'd appreciate it. So we are finally getting to the closing minutes of Kuzu versus Yokohama, and a miraculous comeback by Kuzu is looking less and less likely as the game goes on. Yokohama is just too good. Every time it seems like Kuzu is going to do something to shift the momentum in their favor, Yokohama has a counter. They have something to answer for what Kuzu is doing. They're able to counter every move Kuzu makes, and they're able to maintain control during the game. I wish there was some specific reason that explain or latch onto it and say, okay, if Kuzu does this, they'll be able to get back into the game. But there is no one thing that Kuzu has to overcome when it comes to beating Yokohama. Yokohama is just the better team. They're the deeper team. They're the more talented team. They're the better coach team. And this is not a knock on Kuzu to say that, you know, they're just outclassed when it comes to Yokohama. Yokohama is, like I said, they're more experienced. Kuzu, for the most part, is a very inexperienced team. Even the players that have played basketball before haven't played in a while. They're just now getting back into the sport. And the other players on the team haven't played basketball in a very long time. Or no, haven't played basketball at all. You have players like Momohadu, Chiaki, Kenji, Sora, you know, players like that who are on basketball teams, but it's been a while. And then you have Chucky, Nabe, and karate guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but those guys have never played organized basketball until joining this team. And so you have a bunch of players who are either inexperienced or haven't played in a long time. That's a bad recipe for taking on a team like Yokohama that has a ton of experience and have been a team for a longer amount of time. When I say Yokohama has a counter for everything that Kuzu is doing, just look at Kenji. There are several moments throughout this game where it seems like, okay, this is Kenji's moment. Kenji's going to come in, he's going to turn the tides of the game, he's going to take over the game, and he just can't. It's not that Kenji wants to take over the game. He has the will. He just doesn't have the means because Kuzu is the better. Now, Yokohama is just a better team. Fuwa is a better player than Kenji. Every time, because Kenji has several moments throughout the game where I say, okay, this is Kenji's time, but he just isn't able to put as much impact on the game as he would like to because the players that he's going against at Yokohama are almost all as good as him, if not better. A lot of them are better, and he just doesn't. Kenji has mostly operated on being the best player on the court, the most athletic player, the quickest player, you know, all around the best player on the court. A lot of these games that they're playing in, he isn't the best player on the court playing against Yokohama. He might not be the third, fourth, or fifth best player on the court when playing against Yokohama. And Fuwa especially, they'll always, even when Kenji's able to score some points and maybe get some like offense going for Kuzu, Fuwa's on the offensive end is still blowing by Kenji. Kenji cannot guard Fuwa. Fuwa's still scoring points and getting dunks and layups and getting into the paint and blowing past Kenji. So even when Kenji is doing something good on the offensive end, he still is giving up points on the defensive end. So that makes him right now kind of a net neutral. Like he's doing some good on offense, but he still isn't effectively defending Fuwa. Or how about Shigeyoshi? I was pretty sure that Shigeyoshi's about to come off the bench and give Kuzu a spark and come in and score some points and get them back into this game while Sora was resting on the bench. That's not what happened at all. Shigeyoshi went to the game and he's getting dominated by a guy who was riding Yokohama's bench, a guy we hadn't even seen play before, and a guy who maybe isn't even that good compared to the other players on Yokohama's team, but he's able to come in and give Shigeyoshi the business for a few minutes because he has experience. He's been practicing at basketball for a long time now. He says middle school to high school. He's been honing his craft, so he might not be as talented as Shigeyoshi is, but he's been playing basketball for longer because Shigeyoshi took a while off from basketball. After middle school, he stopped playing. But this guy has kept playing. He managed to get onto one of the best high school teams. So even though he's not as talented as Shigeyoshi is, he has worked hard. He has honed his skills, and he's just dominating Shigeyoshi in the few minutes that they're both on the court. Yokohama is too deep, too talented, and at this point, from a story standpoint, I think I'll be a little disappointed that Kuzu actually came back to win this game, because a lot of what I like about Ahiru no Sora is grounded for the most part in reality. And that's not to say it's still an anime and it's still a shonen, a sports shonen, so it's not like completely realistic, but for the most part, I think most people would agree that Ahiru no Sora is a little more grounded in reality than a lot of other sports shonen. And a 30-point comeback in a few minutes left in the basketball game is, from a realistic standpoint, freaking impossible. It just can't be done. Scoring 30 points in 3 minutes just can't be done from a realism standpoint. It's just impossible. So if Kuzu was able to come back into this game, it would be some otherworldly shit. And I don't think I would like that, just with that being juxtaposed for what we've seen so far in this series, where it's mostly giving us realism. So Kuzu is just gonna have to eat this game and play the rest of this game as hard as they can, and basically live with the satisfaction that they gave it everything they had, and hope that their effort and tenacity and all that other willpower and stuff wins over one of the teachers who will be their advisor, so they can continue playing basketball. Now, I know the now says that they probably won't be satisfied with that because they really want to win this game and they want to feel like they earned the right to keep playing basketball. But boo fucking who. Like, just get over it. If you guys want to keep playing, you're not going to win this game. Play hard, win over one of the teachers, and then try again next year. You know, best luck next time. But you got to do what you can to keep playing. They're not going to, even if they lose this game, they're not going to be like, well, we lost this game, guys. We don't deserve to play basketball anymore. That would be stupid. You played against a better team and you lost. It happens. Get over it, move on, get better. Maybe beat them some other time in the future. Despite Kuzu losing for most of this game and actually being dominated for most of this game, this has still been super enjoyable to watch. Ahiru does such a great job of showing all the maybe smaller strategic changes that happen over the course of a basketball game, where certain players had the advantage or certain or better in certain matchups with these players, but you put in a whole new player, you can change the tide of a game just based off this player's one specific skill matches up better with whatever this other player's weaknesses are. And so Ahiru does such a really good job of demonstrating how being a good player doesn't mean you dominate every other player you play against. It might mean in certain situations you are really good at doing this one particular thing that helps your team in that particular situation, but you might not be a super dominating force who can just dominate a game all the time. You can dominate in certain situations. Other situations you are not so good because it just doesn't suit your skills. Yokohama does a really good job of illustrating that. So even though Kuzu is probably going to lose this game, this has been enjoyable to watch. And it seems like I would assume we're going to get the end of Kuzu versus Yokohama in the next episode. There's only a few minutes left in the game, so I doubt they're going to stretch that out much further. I highly anticipate that, well, I shouldn't highly anticipate, that sounds like I'm rooting against them. I do anticipate that Kuzu is going to lose, but hopefully they lose in grace. They try hard, they play hard to the end, they just fight their little hearts out and make this game as competitive as possible when you're down 30 points, which is not all that competitive. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you in this one. I appreciate you watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, let me know why in the comments, and if you are so inclined, subscribe. I would appreciate it. See you guys in the next one.